Night and you and blue Hawaii. The night is heavenly, and you are heaven to me.
Experiment 626. Give us some sign you understand any of this. Show us that there is something inside you that is good. So naughty.
Hey everyone, welcome to another week of the Conquest of Popcorn. I'm Pinko.
And I'm Barto.
And I don't remember what episode number this is.
That's okay. We're past that now.
I think it's 5.
Sure.
Okay. Last week we talked about flawed feminist film Mean Girls, and this week we're going to talk about one of the most perfect feminist films, in my opinion, Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, something you referred to. Yeah, so she said, well, this one is a film.
It's a film. I know it's animated and it's for kids, but I love this movie.
Also referred to it as not only one of the wokest Disney films, but perhaps one of the wokest films of all time, which is...
Possibly.
Yeah.
There's not a lot. The bar is pretty low. So.
No, yeah, no doubt.
But first, we should mention we got microphones.
Yeah, I hope it works and they sound good, and, you know, this is worth... the investment from my pop. Thanks, Pop. Great birthday present.
We're those podcasters doing it on daddy's money.
Yeah.
Whole $150 for microphones.
Oh, way less. I think like $60, but
oh, nice.
Yeah,
daddy's money.
Yeah, thanks, Pop. But yeah, we got microphones this week. What else did we do this week?
I don't know. Worked.
Went to a meeting. Oh, we went to a meeting.
It was so good.
It was like we went to a meeting with that they're like Palestinian.
It's a solidarity group with Palestine.
Yeah. And the occupation type folks.
Yeah.
And they were all
so old.
Yeah. Like I said like 50 plus, but that's being really generous.
Yeah, I think they were 60.
They trended closer to 60.
Yeah, I was surprised because usually with this issue, people that age are
ambivalent at best. Pretty often very pro-Israel. Right.
And most of the people I know who have any sort of sympathy for Palestinians are younger. So we walked in, and I'm expecting to see a lot of young people, and they were
literally like, youth!
Yeah.
And we're just like, the host just introduced us to everybody, and they're like, look, young people came.
And they had snacks and wine.
Good wine.
Yeah.
Like, usually when we're organizing, we don't have things like that. And
sorry, Penny's here too.
Yeah, Penny's here
excited
today, and she's, excited. Agitated, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on, but she's going to make it. We're all going to make it.
But yeah, wine. So yeah, usually when we're organizing, it's dry with our groups. Food Not Bombs in particular, we like to be as inclusive as possible. Yeah,
but they gave no fucks and had really... Like, we drank wine out of, like, if usually...
Like stemware.
Yeah, stemware. If ever I'm at a space, like an activist space where there's booze, it's going in a plastic cup at best. But, yeah, someone, like, made all these snacks and finger sandwiches and presumably did the dishes afterward and all that nice. Shit. Yeah, it was pretty swell. So we're into bourgeois organizing now.
Yeah, from now on, we're just going to do... groups that are kind of attached to the Democratic Party.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm hanging up my anarchist hat. Actually, instead of Lilo and Stitch, let's do Frozen.
Yeah, we're just going to do Frozen.
Yeah, good. Sorry, guys. We got to change the name, too.
I don't know. The audacity of popcorn.
Yeah, the audacity of popcorn.
Yeah.
Popcorn persisted.
Yeah, and she popped. Yeah, I think that's all that we.
Yeah, that's enough intro.
Yeah, that's plenty. But yeah, Lilo and Stitch. I'd never seen it before. I know.
Yeah, you had no childhood.
I had a fine childhood, but it came out in 2002, which means I was like in 8th grade or my freshman year of high school, and so that seems like by that time I was already, if I had not sported a mohawk, I was on the glimmer of the mohawk was in my eye, and so things like Disney movies felt very uncouth.
I would have been 12 going on 13. I would have been in the 7th grade. And I didn't really break out of my childish bubble until high school, I think. I went to a really small school and everybody was kind of a goody two-shoes there. So I was still really into Disney.
Yeah. Well, I missed a gem.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's quite a film, but I really liked this movie. I had fun. I had some laughs. But yeah, I mean, are we starting from the beginning? Is that how we're doing it?
Yeah, let's just do it chronologically. So, this movie, well, I want to talk about the premise and why I like it so much to start with, and then we'll go. But it's ostensibly about an alien, but what this movie is like really about, like the core of it, is about two sisters of Native Hawaiian descent. Their parents died in a car accident, and the older sister, Nani, who is like 19-ish, has to take care of her little sister, Lilo, who seems to be in like first or second grade, that area. And
absolutely the cutest Disney character.
Yeah, she's adorbs.
Yeah, outside of maybe some people, like, I can't even pinpoint right now, but maybe someone from Toy Story like moved me a little bit more in terms of adorability, but like Lilo is very cute.
Yeah, she's like quirky and weird.
And rolls up into a little ball.
Yeah. Well, all of the kids, that's another thing. All the kids are drawn very round.
Yeah.
Which I like. They look like little kids. They have chubby little bodies like kids do. And Nani has more of an athletic figure, but she's still, thick, muscular legs. Like, they are not the like stick figure Barbies that a lot of Disney movies do.
Yeah.
And there's a huge diversity of shapes of people in this movie.
Yeah,
which is
cool.
Great. So we open with the Galactic Federation.
Yeah, there's like some council, a very diverse council of alien creatures.
Yes.
Who are bringing this kind of mad scientist character to trial for his crimes.
Yeah, he's sort of a Dr. Frankenstein character.
Right. I mean, Dad, you point. The whole thing is pretty.
It's a little Frankenstein-y.
Frankenstein-y.
I forget his name. What's the doctor's name?
Oh, what is the doctor's name? It's a weird name that I didn't like.
Jumba.
Jumba is his name.
Jumba. So
Dr. Jumba.
He created Stitch, which is just this genetically modified creature who's designed to be as destructive and indestructible as possible.
So what I thought was really like wacky and fun about this first scene is it's this, there are no two characters on this council or in this room that like look anything alike, but as soon as they see Stitch, they're like, what is that thing?
They're disgusted.
Yeah, they're like absolutely revolted by it.
And he just kind of looks like a six-legged dog.
He doesn't look
or koala.
He looks like a koala with extra arms.
Yeah.
And some spikes. And I guess it's
one
kind
of
of
the
vulgar.
aliens is literally a squid in a jar on a robot body.
Right. I mean, he's no like stranger than anybody else. So I think I'm curious how this council was formed, because we learn like a little bit about how the Galactic Federation, or whatever they're called, works. But we see right away that they have at least a sizable prison population on their ship.
It's a huge ship.
It's a big ship.
And presumably full of cells.
Yeah. It's floating in space. Around it are like hundreds of police ships.
Mm-hmm. But this is for an entire galaxy.
No, yeah. I
mean, it might not be that high of a prison population.
No, in terms of actual, you're right. But there's this very, it's like the peak space liberalism of like everything, everyone is accepted, and except for this thing that is not of God,
yeah,
that this professor made, which is like inherently revolting, which I thought was very funny.
Actually he says something in his alien language and it causes the robot alien to throw up gears and nuts and bolts.
Yeah, I wish they'd subtitled that. I'm very
I
curious
really want to know what he said.
what vulgar thing this
It
little
is a
blue
kid's
cutie
movie,
pie
though.
said.
Yeah.
But they sentence him.
They're gonna exile him somewhere.
Yeah, they're sending him to Siberia. But
Yeah,
Siberia is
Siberia.
an asteroid.
Yeah,
It's like hurling through space.
but he escapes
Yeah.
amazingly.
Yeah, he's a very clever little thing.
Yeah, and he steals a cop car or a cop ship.
Yeah.
So we've already got, first of all, the state is like a main antagonist in this movie, which made me super love it.
Both the human state and the
Galactic Federation state. So our anti-hero Stitch steals a cop ship thing and flees with just a fleet of police vehicles chasing him.
It's almost like the end of Blues Brothers, when there's just like,
Oh, we should do that movie.
oh yeah, we'll get to Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
Blues Brothers rules. That's one of my favorites. And that's great because there's like so much fun stuff in it, and it's also like there's
Don't go on a tangent.
we'll get to Blues Brothers.
We're only Lilo and Stitch.
But yeah, it's just like hundreds of police cars chasing after this like one wacky cute little animal, and
that wears sunglasses throughout the film, like the Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
And he's blue.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you made the Frankenstein parallel, but this is like transcendent.
It's got layers.
And Lilo and Stitch is just a radical retelling of the Saturday Night Live skit, The Blues Brothers.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. But yeah, he gets away.
He does. And he goes hurtling toward this planet, which they mispronounce adorably as
Like-
Earth.
Yeah,
we should definitely throw that clip in there.
Where is he?
He's still in hyperspace.
Where will he exit?
Calculating now. Quadrant 17, section 005, area 51. A planet called Earth.
Anyway, everyone's like, oh, it's covered in water. Stitch is super dense and he can't swim. It'll be fine. But then, as the camera follows him down, this tiny little island appears, and then we realize it's a chain of islands, and it's Hawaii.
Yeah, and he lands on a small island.
Does he land on the big island?
I don't think so.
No, it's like one of the smaller ones in there. But then later on, they're on the big island. I think it's implied. They kind of are a little ambiguous about which island they're on.
They make a point that there are no major cities on the island that they're on, and Honolulu is not like huge, but it is a city. Yeah,
so at one point in the film or movie, it's not really a film, it's a movie, if we're making that distinction. At one point in the movie, Jumbo comments that Stitch has a drive for destruction. Like, his instinct is to seek out a major city and wreak havoc. And then we see Stitch and Lilo are on, like, a little child's, like, tricycle, and Stitch is going all around the island trying to find a way off, and they keep going near shoreline, like beach, and he's all frustrated, and Lilo goes, "It's so nice to live on an island with no major cities."
Yeah. And, Stitch is really basically not great at communicating. He is great at understanding everything that everyone is saying, and takes it to...
Yeah, he's really annoyed.
He's very disappointed. But yeah, he crash lands, and
immediately gets hit by, like, a line of trucks.
Yeah.
And destroys these trucks, because he is an indestructible alien.
Yeah. And ends up at the pound.
Yeah. So these truck drivers see him, bring him to the pound. They think he's a dog. And Stitch wakes up in a dog jail cell. He's just in a lot of jail cells.
Yeah.
All the other dogs are huddling in a corner, cowering in fear. And Stitch realizes what's going on. Sees a poster on the wall, "Adopt Today." He realizes that Jumbo and Jumbo's... So...
Jumbo, who is... I recognize Pleakley is the other.
Oh, yeah, Pleakley. Pleakley is an alien who has convinced the Galactic Federation that they cannot just destroy Earth
because of the endangered mosquito population.
Yeah, they're a protected species.
You can't kill humans because they're the food source of the endangered species, the mosquitoes.
So Jumbo and Pleakley are waiting outside the pound. Stitch realizes that he has to escape, so he turns him. He sucks two of his legs and his back spines in, and Lilo, of course, being the weird girl she is, immediately wants this weird koala thing as her pet.
We should backtrack just a little bit and meet Lilo and her sister Nani.
Yes.
Who are sort of, okay, as a trifecta, hear me out, ego, superego, and id.
So Stitch is the id.
Stitch is the id.
Whichever one is responsible for making you not an animal is Nani.
Nani is the ego.
Okay.
And Lilo is the superego.
Okay. Okay, so she's sort of mediating between these two things.
I mean, the superego is, the ego is like the face. The superego is like unconscious desires, things like that, and it is like the animalistic.
Okay.
What
I dig it.
And they make that. I mean, that trio is really easy to throw in. Like it just sort of forms naturally when you're doing trios of characters, but it works really well for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, we meet Lilo
on
the beach.
Yeah, so she has just brought a peanut butter sandwich to
a fish?
Pug.
I don't remember what she calls the fish.
Puck or pug. So she believes that this fish controls the weather.
Yeah.
So she has to bring him a peanut butter sandwich, and then she rushes to her dance class.
Not before taking a picture of like a big sunburned white tourist
with an ice cream cone.
Which
this is something I think is really cool. And I've seen this pointed out in a couple of film reviews. So many movies set in Hawaii are through the gaze of a tourist, looking at this sort of paradise. In this case, it's a native Hawaiian person turning the gaze back onto the tourists.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty cool. But also she thinks they're beautiful. So she's not fat shaming them at all. Like, there's something I liked about this movie is there's so many interesting, diverse bodies, and none of them are considered ugly.
Yeah.
They're all beautiful.
Everyone, especially to Lilo.
Yeah,
everyone
Lilo
is
thinks
beautiful.
that they are gorgeous, beautiful things.
Yeah.
And she's fascinated by these people who just come to her island just to sit on the beach.
Yeah. But yeah, she takes this like quick picture of this man trying to eat an ice cream cone, and he drops his ice cream cone.
This poor man never manages to eat the ice cream.
Yeah, we
cone
keep
the whole
meeting this
movie.
man through
And
the whole
his
movie.
ice cream gets destroyed in more and more fantastic ways as
Yeah,
the movie goes
it's
on.
pretty cool. Yeah, she rushes to her dance class where she's very late. All the kids are already dancing. She makes a mess because she's just been in the water feeding a fish a peanut butter sandwich.
The teacher thinks this is very strange.
Yeah, one of the kids fall while they're dancing because
Of the water.
Of the water on the floor. And when pressed why she's late, she goes into this tirade about how she had to feed the fish and all they had was tuna.
Yeah, and she can't give him tuna because do you know what tuna is?
Yeah.
It's fish.
I mean,
it would be an abomination.
And she feels super real. Like, this feels like, I don't hang out with a ton of kids, but it feels like, in my head, what kids say to you when they're, like, really excited about something.
Every Thursday, I take Pudge the fish a peanut butter sandwich.
Pudge is a fish.
And today we were out of peanut butter. So I asked my sister what to give him, and she said a tuna sandwich. I can't give Pudge tuna. Do you know what tuna is?
Fish.
It's fish! If I gave Pudge tuna, I'd be an abomination. I'm late because I had to go to the store and get peanut butter because all we have is stinking tuna!
You know.
Yeah, it felt pretty real to me. I don't know any kids that would go so far as to, like, actually dive into the ocean to give a fish a sandwich, but I also don't know many kids that would have the freedom to do that.
Right. We also, yeah, I mean,
maybe if they didn't have their big sister there in that moment, they would do it.
Yeah. But one of the during this interaction, I don't remember exactly what prompts the like mean redheaded white girl to call her like a freak.
She calls her crazy because of the fish story.
Oh, okay, yeah, I guess yeah.
This is like one of two white girls in this dance class.
Yeah.
And this one's like kind of the gang ringleader of the cool girls that Lilo wants to be friends with, and they think she's weird.
And Lilo just like decks her.
Yeah, so another awesome woke point in this movie. I'm sorry, I should stop saying woke. I say it kind of ironically, but another good point in this movie is Lilo standing up for herself and decking a white girl.
Yeah, and bites her.
Yeah, she bites her.
It's cool. And yeah, she has to sit on the stoop. She sort of tries to apologize, but they're really mean to her. And you know, it ain't right. Lilo's trying. Kids be mean though. That's also like real life.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I see it play out every single day. Some kid calls another kid a mean name, and that kid decks them.
Yeah. But yeah, we meet. Then Lilo, instead of waiting for her sister, decides to go home on her own and lock herself in the house by like nailing the door shut.
Yeah, Lilo is a very dramatic girl.
Yes. And her sister, we realize that her sister has an appointment with the social services guy. And she gets home and Lilo is like laying there listening to Elvis and just doing like the I'm not listening and turning up the Elvis music while her sister's trying to break the door down. And the social services guy, played by Ving Rhames,
Mr. Bubbles.
Yeah, who goes by Mr. Bubbles.
He's a giant, muscular black man with a bald head and sunglasses and a very Men in Black kind of suit, and his knuckles have Cobra tattooed to them, which I don't know. Cobra, Cobra, is 5 letters.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of 5-letter knuckle tattoos, but okay.
Well, and also I don't think they have 5 fingers.
No, I think that they have 4 fingers.
I think
like
they have
most,
4 fingers in the movie. They don't.
most cartoon
You never
characters.
actually see his tattoo. You just.
You kind of see it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, when Lilo shakes hands with him and then he like closes his fist and makes a little knuckle crack.
Oh, you
It's
can
not
see-
really like distinctly
You
drawn,
can
but
see
it's
like
kind
the
of hinted.
BRA or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No cartoon characters have 5 fingers because it looks awkward to draw and just like no one does it.
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, I guess.
It was.
No, they have 5 fingers. I'm looking
What?
at them now.
No
Yeah.
fucking way.
Look.
How?
Look, they just have fat little hands.
Oh.
And she keeps 2 of them together.
That's very strange.
No, it doesn't look weird though. They're cute.
No, it's just like it's more strange that they like broke out of the norm of giving cartoon characters 4 fingers.
I mean, they well with their like cartoony ones with like Mickey and Donald in them, they all have 4 fingers. But like if you look at like the princess movies, they all have 5 fingers.
No way.
They
See,
do.
I've just not watched like it as like a grown person. I've watched The Lion King.
I bet you Woody has 5 fingers.
Yeah, I bet Woody does have 5 fingers. No, wait, really?
Yeah,
Wait, figure this out for me.
he does. Look.
Oh man, wild.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah,
Those are
5
mixed
fingers.
fingers,
Look at
isn't
that. Look at that, folks. Woody has 5 fingers.
This is the content that people are going to give us Patreon money for
You
one
know,
day.
you keep talking about this Patreon thing. I don't know. It seems like quite the gamble, like the emotional gamble that we'd be making. But yeah, we you know, after this encounter where Ving Rhames is basically like
Mr. Bubbles.
Mr. Bubbles.
I can't remember actor names. We're gonna go by the character names.
Mr. Okay, I'm gonna do my best. Mr. Bubbles, basically is not super thrilled that Nani can't get in the house.
Yeah.
And,
he's like, in case you're wondering, this did not go well.
yeah, it doesn't go well.
Which, I mean, Lilo kind of hams it up a lot. She has drawn a picture of herself alone that says "me alone" and sticks it to the fridge. She's put some mystery thing on the stove and turned the heat up so it's burning. While Mr. Bubbles is talking to Nani, she makes a bunch of voodoo dolls with spoons and sticks them in a pickle jar and shakes it up and says, "My friends need to be punished." She tells him that Nani disciplines her 5 times a week.
Yeah, no, I mean, Lilo's a funny kid.
Yeah.
But that's not funny in front of social services. The state
No.
is not to be trifled
Well,
with.
Lilo doesn't understand what's going on.
No, yeah, she's
She's a kid who's going through some shit.
yeah. But we eventually they sort of there's like a fight. They sort of reconcile
I love
a little
the
bit.
fight. The fight scene is great, and I read that part of the reason it was added was that focus groups who watched this movie thought Nani was Lilo's mom, so they needed to give them a more sisterly relationship, and I think they really nailed it.
You're such a pain.
So why don't you sell me and buy a rabbit instead?
At least the rabbit will behave better than you.
Go ahead, then you'll be happy because it will be smarter than me too.
And quieter.
You'll like it because it's stinky like you.
Out of your room.
I'm already in my room.
They
By making them fight, just made it clear
Yeah,
that this
so-
is not a ma and daughter thing.
Lilo says, "Why don't you sell me and get a rabbit?" And Nani says, "At least a rabbit would be quieter." And it's just, you see them both screaming into their pillows.
Yeah, it is classic how young people interact with their siblings.
Yeah, this is how I used to fight with my sister.
Yeah, I sort of did that too, except we didn't reconcile super well. We just
Well, one of you wasn't in charge of the well-being of the
no,
other
that's
either.
true, and yeah, it would not have gone well if that was the case. But eventually, a shooting star crashes, which is, of course,
A spaceship.
And Nina? Nani. Jesus, I'm the worst. The actress's name is Tia.
She's an actual Native Hawaiian woman, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually made an effort here to get actors who were Native Hawaiians and not just kind of fake it.
No, yeah, it was. I'm proud of them.
Yeah.
But Nani is asked to leave the room, and Lilo gives a little prayer to the shooting star, looking for a friend.
Which is So this is why they go to the pound.
Yeah. To
Nani
pick
wants
up
to get her sister a dog.
the weirdest fucking dog ever.
This koala mutant thing.
Yeah. And they sign the papers when they get there, making Stitch theirs under the state of Hawaii.
Yeah, this becomes important later.
Yeah. And he's a handful.
A little bit.
He's quite the handful, to say the least. But I don't know.
What happens next? I forget.
I don't know. They sort of like go around. They're
doing stuff.
Yeah, they're doing stuff. They go on the
picnic.
bike ride when they're trying to avoid the Earth expert and his mad scientist trader.
So Nani goes to work.
Yeah,
is what happens,
and Lilo just gets to like fucking hang out, which seems like cool kid shit.
I mean, they're in a very small town, I gather.
Yeah, that's where the worst stuff happens.
I was sort of left to my own devices a lot when I was a kid. I mean, I don't know how young Lilo is supposed to be, but when I was young. like 5th grade through middle school, we lived in like Bumblefuck, and my sister and I would get off the bus like before our parents got home and just kind of go hang out with our friends in the neighborhood, like whatever. There's nobody. If nothing bad gonna happen, all the neighbors knew us.
I just didn't have that many friends in my neighborhood. I think that was a big part of it.
Yeah, we had friends in our neighborhood, and all the parents knew everybody. So
it was. We're presuming it's something like that.
Yeah, it seems like there's lots of adults around who know Lilo, and the other kids are also kind of hanging around doing their own thing.
That's true.
So
they
it's
just
not like this is unusual.
They have a bike gang.
Yeah, they have a tricycle gang.
Yeah. But eventually, Lilo and Stitch end up at their sister's restaurant where we get to meet a hot boy.
Oh, David, he's a hunk.
He is a hunk.
And he breathes fire.
Yeah, and starts fires.
Yeah, so he's doing like a fire dance thing. It's like a touristy restaurant. So he's doing this like fire dance thing with a water bottle full of gasoline. And he does the like fire breathing, and it sets the stage on fire. And
is that what does that? I was curious about that.
I think it must be because at one point Nani tells him he smells like a lawnmower.
Oh, because I think, like, I see that, and I'm like,
it can't possibly be
so
gasoline.
fucking gross. Like, why would you do that? I don't,
I think it is, though. Or some kind of lighter fluid or something. He's not swallowing it.
Yes, but, ugh. I don't know. I put a lot of horrific things in my mouth. I've eaten a lot of bad food.
You've had Malort, which is horrifying and tastes a little like gasoline.
Yeah, I've paid for Malort on my own volition many times. Chicago's finest beverage.
Straight up, I thought I was eating acetone.
It doesn't taste like acetone.
It tastes like acetone.
It tastes like Christmas trees.
It tastes like acetone.
And fingernail polish remover.
That's what acetone is.
Is that what acetone is? Okay. Then, yeah, a little bit of acetone, but also Christmas trees.
He's like, it doesn't taste like acetone. It tastes like fingernail polish remover. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Whatever. But yeah, I would not put straight up gasoline in my mouth, even if it made a big fiery display.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me. I'm not.
Well, you're not David. He's a braver man than you.
Yeah.
So yeah, about David. David is he's interested in Nani, and she likes him too. He asks Nani out, and she's like, "Nah, I have a lot going on right now." As her sister and her sister's dog are misbehaving in the restaurant.
And-
Nani walks away, and Lilo says, "Don't worry, she likes your butt and fancy hair."
Yeah.
But David,
She
I
thinks
like.
my hair is fancy?
Yeah, I like him because, first of all, Nani's like love interest isn't the central part of the movie.
No, it's very cursory.
It's cursory. It kind of just gives her character a little depth. Shows that she's sort of giving up what most young women get to do in order to take care of her sister. And David's not a whiny little baby about it. Like, he accepts this, and he still is a friend to Nani and supports her and Lilo. Nani loses her job, so he's helping her find jobs.
That's like...
Yeah, he sees Lilo and Nani are really sad on the beach and takes them surfing. Like, he's a really nice guy.
I mean...
There should be more of them in the world.
That sort of rejection is like the premise of being a villain in like other stories and in real life.
Yeah, so like in a time where everybody on the internet is talking about incels for some reason today, did something happen?
Yeah, I think it's the Vancouver.
Oh, the guy with the van.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he was an incel.
Okay.
And,
so yeah, in a world where we have men plowing over people in vans over not getting laid,
we have a fucking hero
we could
in
stand
Hawaii.
more dudes like David who, you know, are still going to be friends to the women in their lives, even if they're not having sex with them.
Yeah, and be supportive and
he just cares.
and just show off their fancy hair still,
Yeah.
even if they're not getting laid because of their fancy hair.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he rules. Good male character, but the chaos. I don't remember how the chaos gets caused in the restaurant.
Oh, because Jumbo and Plinkley are there, disguised as humans.
And Stitch freaks out. Or?
Well, so they lure Stitch to them with like a chicken leg.
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
like a spotted chicken leg.
Yeah, it's like wrapped up in some. I don't know. And then they like snatch Stitch, and then he freaks out, and he has Plinkley. Is it Plinkley? Plinky? He's disguised as a woman, and everybody's very oblivious to the fact that this is a yellow woman with one giant
big
eyeball
eye.
and like 3 fingers.
He sort of looks like in the first Star Wars movie, that thing that's like crawling around the garbage crusher.
Yeah.
But if he had a bod underneath that, he sort of looks like that, and then you put a wig over that eye and a dress, and it was people were like, sure.
So he Stitch takes his head in his mouth, and so to everyone else who doesn't know what's going on, this is just a vicious dog,
A very bad boy.
a very bad dog attacking this restaurant patron, and then they're just like, "Oh, it was nothing. Don't worry about it."
Yeah,
Which no person would really be that way if a dog had their whole head in its mouth.
Yeah, further, if you ever see someone with their whole head in a dog's mouth and they brush it off, they're probably alien assassins.
Probably.
This is just good advice for your future. Look out, spot them, they're among us.
Yep. So Nani loses her job.
Yeah,
because
bummer.
her bad dog and bad sister are causing a scene in the restaurant.
And the next day, Bubbles is none too pleased.
Yeah, he's not happy, and she has 1 day to find a new job.
Which is fucking shitty.
Yeah, unfair, especially in Hawaii where jobs are a little hard to come by.
Right. And this is, fair, before we lost all the jobs, there were still, just 2001, there were still some jobs.
Yeah.
But it, still pretty rough. Single mom.
Yeah.
Not good prospects.
Yeah, so Mr. Bubbles tells Nani she needs a new job, and Lilo that Stitch needs to be a model citizen.
Yeah, which is
by
fucked up.
tomorrow.
Which is fucked up. No one can train a dog in 1 day.
No. Especially not to be a model citizen. I've been training my wonderful sweet darling for couple years now, and she still barks when I'm making podcasts.
Yeah. Rude.
Rude.
Um,
She's getting up and looking at us. She knows we're talking about her.
But in order to make Stitch a model citizen, Lilo focuses her energy or harnesses the good vibes of the king, Elvis.
He was the model citizen that Stitch needs to emulate.
Which is sort of weird.
You know, I have some little cousins, and their dad really likes Elvis.
Okay.
And when they were very small, they spent a lot of time listening to Elvis, wanting to be like Elvis. I believe they cried when they found out he was dead.
Bummer.
I can see it.
Bummer. I had a friend. This is pretty cursory, or pretty huge aside. I worked with this woman she was a super cool lady, and she told me that apparently she bawled for a whole night when she learned. I don't know if you know who Howlin' Wolf is, but awesome, good blues, old school blues guy, from like a very long time ago. She bawled a whole night when she heard he was dead because they were best friends. And
Wait, how were they best friends?
well, I mean, she was like a little kid.
Oh, so she's
and
not.
she's just like, yeah, me and Howlin' Wolf are like best buds, and it's shattering that he's dead.
So cute.
Yeah, it was an adorable story. But yeah, I don't know. I think Elvis is sort of a strange choice for model citizen.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not like judging him because of quaaludes and things like that, like his strange use of drugs later in life, and his descent into just being like a huge slob. But he was just like a rock and roller, first and foremost.
Well, anyway, Lilo and Stitch follow Nani around while she's looking for jobs.
Keep ruining it.
And they do. They keep messing up. So, Lilo is teaching Stitch how to play guitar. His guitar is too high pitched. I don't know how. Well, actually, it's a ukulele. It's not a guitar. Yeah, it's a nice little uke. So it's very high pitched, even though Stitch really picks it up very immediately.
Yeah, he does super well.
Yeah, and it shatters all the glass at this restaurant. They go to a fruit and vegetable stand, and a watermelon goes flying and lands on the woman's head who runs it. They go to, where else do they go?
They go to
a hotel.
Yeah, they go to a hotel. Oh, and yeah, he tries to be smooth.
Yeah, he'll give a woman a rose and freaks her out a lot.
Yeah, and again, I mean, we still are pretending he's a dog.
Yeah.
I guess I would be like, oh, if a dog handed me a rose.
Not that dog. He's a terrifying koala monster.
He is and koalas are tripping balls all the time.
Yeah, that eucalyptus really fucks with their heads.
Yeah, and so if a koala offered me a rose and put its arm around me, I'd be suspicious of its intent.
So it doesn't work out there. Then the final scene, they're on a beach, and there's a lifeguard who tells Nani that she thinks there's an opening, and then Stitch is bringing it all together, all the Elvis.
Yeah, full Elvis regalia.
Yeah.
This is it. Time to bring it all together.
Oh, that would be so great. You have no idea how badly I need this job.
It's all you, not the devil.
Yeah, and he's playing the ukulele, but all of the crowd of
likes
people
him too much.
Yeah, they mob him, and they're taking photos, and it scares him. And I feel like this was unfair. If this is really a dog, this is not how you act toward a dog. And then everybody freaks out when the dog gets upset and runs away and knocks over the lifeguard stand. And I think it's unfair that Nani didn't get the job because this crowd of people didn't know how to act around a dog.
No, I mean, that's true. But yeah, he sort of, I mean, he went out like Elvis, just overwhelmed and
yeah,
and went down in a puff of smoke.
Yeah. So all of these job prospects are shot. Nani and Lilo are feeling pretty bummed. David comes along, sees this sad scene, and they all go surfing to kind of cheer up a bit.
Yeah, which sounds like an awesome way to blow off steam.
Yeah.
I considered moving to Hawaii after watching this film because it sounds great.
There's a lot of reasons that you and I can't move to Hawaii.
There are.
It's really expensive.
It is.
And I don't know how to surf.
No,
hate
me
the
neither.
beach.
I've boogie boarded.
Yeah, I think that
That's
makes fun of
sort
you.
of the same.
No.
Okay. Actually, I'm pretty scared of, like, surfboards get sharp. Like, the edges of surfboards get
yeah?
sharp. When I've been in the ocean when there are surfboarders around, I have this, like, stay the fuck away from me sort of, like, thought. And so maybe this is not the culture I want to participate in. I don't know.
Well, so they go surfing, and Jumbo and Plinky... Is it Plinky? I need to look at this.
We're going to call him Plinky. I like Plinky.
Pleakley. I'm sorry.
Pleakley.
Pleakley and Jumbo are in the water in scuba gear. I don't know how they acquired scuba gear.
I don't know. Why not?
They grab Stitch and pull him down, and Stitch freaks out and grabs Lilo. And Nani and David just think that it's just a regular, like, surfboard wipeout. David rescues Lilo and then goes back for Stitch, gets Stitch, rescues Stitch, and they're on the beach recovering from this ordeal, and Mr. Bubbles walks up.
Yep, and it all, again, it's just that sort of, like, classic. I keep, the guy who's not supposed to catch you at your worst is somehow catching you at your worst again.
He tells Nani he knows that she's trying, but he doesn't think that this is the best situation for Lilo. Personally, I think that's fucked up. I think that being removed from her home and her only family would be more traumatic than just
clearly loving family.
Yeah, than just, helping give this woman some support to take care of her little sister.
Yes, which, we see later.
Yeah, we do see later. So they go home, and Nani has to explain to Lilo what's going to happen, that she's going to have to leave. She's going to be taken away. And they sing together this song, Aloha Oi, which was written by the last Queen of Hawaii, Queen Liliuokalani. I practiced saying this word, and I think I'm saying it wrong.
Can you say it again?
Liliuokalani. Did I say it right?
I mean, I think so.
I literally listened to, like, a YouTube video on how to pronounce this. So she wrote that right when the U.S. Was
illegally,
taking over Hawaii, and
annexing.
Now, and I think it's kind of a poignant thing to use in this scene because it's the state is the Western state is taking Lilo away from Nani.
I mean,
just like
Bubbles is literally, he's like from the mainland.
Yeah,
he's flown in. The idea is that he's flown in to deal with the bad cases.
Yeah,
and this is this is literally the mainland United States proper coming in and annexing a little girl from an annexed land.
Yeah. So, it's really, actually, this scene really choked me up a little bit. It's really sad.
Yeah, that was the other thing you said about this movie before we watched it, is it's the only Disney movie that can make you cry. And, the only one that makes me cry is the first 2 minutes of The Lion King, because that song is an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but I think this is, to me, it's very sad. It's very real world. Like, it's very real life. This is a family dealing with grief at the loss of their parents. They're dealing with poverty. They're dealing with the potential, like, further breakup of the family.
All things that are, like, touched on, like, real hard in this movie.
Yeah,
like, they don't shy away from, like, the idea that these are grieving kids.
Yeah, and you don't see, in a lot of movies, you don't see grief. Like, even, like, The Lion King, his dad dies.
And he becomes a nihilist.
Yeah, but, I guess they kind of touch on the grief, but the healing process is pretty quick in that movie.
Yep.
In this one, it's kind of present throughout.
Yeah. And the poverty is the other
Poverty,
one,
like,
where it's just like that. This is the situation. It's like we are fucking poor.
Yeah, and it's circumstances. It's not like, a moral failing or anything. It's just things beyond their control happened.
Yeah. No one fucked up to get
Their
themselves
island
in
was
this
colonized
situation.
hundreds of years ago, leading to economic depression, and now this girl has to figure out how to feed her sister in this world.
In the world of Western
when she's
capitalism.
19 and probably just got out of high school and has no college education or anything.
Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty ideological.
Yeah.
In like a good sense, in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's really necessarily what they're going for. I think that they just wanted to make some characters that real kids could relate to. Mm-hmm. And I think they did a good job. The
Sesame Street route.
Yeah. The Sesame Street route, exactly.
We were sort of talking earlier about how Jordan Peterson's big beef with Frozen as being like an ideological project, and his whole thing is that, like, in his mind, like, the moral came first and they crafted a story around that. But
it's literally every story.
Yeah. I mean, he's
just grasping at straws. He doesn't want to come out and admit that he doesn't like the values that are being taught in this children's movie. Children's movies always have a moral. Always.
I mean,
name me one that doesn't, and I will show. Like, if you show me a child's movie that doesn't have a moral lesson, I will show you a crappy child's movie. Because it is. All of the ones that don't have a lesson are shitty movies.
His whole thing is like, what's the Sleeping Beauty is a good example of like what he thinks of as a good movie.
Does he think that movie's not political?
No, but he says, quote, "You could say that Sleeping Beauty was raised out of her unconscious via delivering mail. Another way of reading that story is that the unconsciousness requires active consciousness as an antidote."
No, that movie was about female purity, and that's what the fairy tale's about.
Right. No, I mean, he's
like
he's an ideological monster himself. But
yeah.
you were just saying that, like, it's weird that he I've never seen Frozen because I'm a grown up who doesn't usually watch new children's movies. Usually,
I hang out with a lot of kids.
Toy Story is an exception, but
that's a grown up film.
Okay, good. But you were saying that, like, if he had taken the time to watch Lilo and Stitch, he would probably be more pissed at.
Maybe. I think that part of his problem with Frozen is that Frozen came out in a time where people were really focusing on the lack of good female role models in kids' movies.
That's true.
And on the lack of movies that don't just center around a love interest when there's a female character. So lots of people really latched on to Frozen and like held it up as like an example. Whereas Lilo and Stitch, the political landscape when it came out wasn't quite so focused on that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess when it was made,
it was right after 9/11.
It was made just before 9/11.
Just before? Oh yeah, but it came out just after.
Yeah,
they actually had to make some changes to the movie because of 9/11.
Yeah.
But it people weren't looking for a really good feminist kids movie when it came out. So nobody really talked about it. It's a really underrated movie. Not a lot of people really remember this movie or think about this movie. So there isn't like a zeitgeist for Jordan Peterson to be railing
That's
against.
true. Yeah. Fair enough.
Maybe if he heard our podcast, he would.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson, come on, Conquest of Popcorn.
No.
Okay, never mind. You're disinvited.
I don't think I could be polite to him.
You don't need to be.
I don't platform fascists.
Fair enough. What were we just talking about?
We're talking about the ideology of Lilo and Stitch
Oh, yeah.
versus the ideology of Frozen.
Just that, I mean, I just think at its core, I mean, I think it gets to it's not quite Marxist, but you could contrive it as collectivist leaning by the end of the film.
Yeah, which we'll get to.
But
for now, right before Nani and Lilo walk away, right after they walk away, David turns to Stitch and says, I really thought they had a chance until you came along.
Oh, yeah.
Stitch has sort of a moral awakening and starts to feel bad, which he has not felt bad before.
Yeah, he's just been like an id machine.
Yeah, but he back at the house, he and Lilo are in bed, and he wants Lilo to read him a story, and he pulls out the ugly duckling,
Who he's related to.
Yeah, so there's like a little picture of the duckling crying and saying, "I'm lonely." It's so sad. Oh my god, I actually think about that picture a lot. It's so fucking sad.
Oh my god.
And I think Stitch is saying that he's lonely, and Lilo tells him
I'm lost.
Or I'm lost. That's what it is. I'm lost.
That's it.
And Stitch is saying he's lost, and Lilo says that he can be part of her family, and she says it's little and broken, but it's still good. Stitch realizes that his presence in this family is really wreaking havoc on them, and he has some soul searching to do. So he takes this book after Lilo falls asleep and walks out into the woods, and
starts yelling, "I'm lost," into the darkness.
Oh my god, it's so sad.
It's kind of heavy.
Lost.
Lost.
It's really, I mean, Disney movies, there's always this real heavy scene right before, like, the climax of the film.
That never happens in Aladdin. Let me tell you, there's nothing heavy in Aladdin. I don't think. Is there anything heavy in
Jafar
Aladdin?
takes over the whole kingdom, and it ruins everything.
It's not heavy. It's just like...
Jasmine is in an hourglass, and sand is filling up. She's going to die at any moment.
Again, I'm sorry. My reference points for Disney are pretty limited. I suck.
Okay, so...
Yeah, I'm lost.
Yeah, you
I'm
are,
sad.
and so is Stitch.
Thank you.
So, I guess morning comes, and Chambo and Pleaky? Whatever.
Yeah, Pleaky.
Whatever, the skinny alien, are there, and... Oh, they've been fired by...
Oh, yeah, the state.
The Galactic Federation has fired them for their inability to apprehend Stitch.
Yeah, and there's this other guy, the guy who lost Stitch initially.
Captain whatever.
Is on his way. Yeah, he looks like a big, mean shark.
He's
Captain
huge.
Gantu.
Yeah, Gantu.
Yeah, he's a big old thing and is just, like, pissed at this little cute blue guy.
Yeah. So, Jumbo, when they're fired, is like, now we can do it our way.
Yeah.
So he's like, fuck worrying about the humans, fuck worrying about the mosquitoes, and he gets out his gun and he's going after Stitch, and Stitch is just like, no, I want to stay here. I love this family. Oh, so also family is important. This concept of Ohana. Sorry to pause and backtrack, but they talk about Ohana. It was something that the girl's dad always talked about. It means family. It means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. So Stitch, wants to stay with his new Ohana.
There's something you were saying about how the actors who played David and Nani,
they helped rewrite the script to make the dialogue more authentic.
Yeah,
which I thought was pretty cool.
Fucking rad.
Yeah,
I'm sure that they had this word already.
Oh, apparently the filmmakers went on a tour of Hawaii when they were going to make this movie, and their tour guide who was a Hawaiian native, kept talking about Ohana.
Okay,
because he knew everyone on the island. Everywhere they stopped, they're like, "Why do you know all these people?" And he's like, "Oh, it's my Ohana." He says that it's like this huge extended family of all of people in Hawaii. This is just from this weird little blog about Disney movies, so take it with a grain of salt.
I trust everything I read in blogs.
Really?
Yeah.
You enjoy Anne Reid's blog?
I do trust that she was probably pretty homophobic at some point, yes.
I don't know how you can trust blogs when they're always being hacked by Russians.
That's true. Yeah.
But anyway.
It'd be so funny if there's this Russian project to create weird narratives for how Disney films were written. And it's nothing nefarious at all. It's just incorrect.
Well, anyway, back on track. Stitch is being apprehended by Jumbo and Peaky, whatever.
Yeah.
Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, by Mr. Peaky, Agent Peaky Blinders.
Yeah. Do you know what that show is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, he runs back to the house. They follow him and they start attacking. It's just trashing the house. It's ridiculous.
It's already sort of a jumbled house in the first place,
well,
and then
it's a house that's lived in by two girls with no parents.
Yeah, no, and I get it. I'm not saying this is a bad house. I live in a jumbled home.
Yeah, have you seen our apartment?
Yeah, and but they really
fuck this house up.
They really fuck it up.
So they block up one of the laser guns with, is it a carrot?
Yeah, they stuff it with
so
something.
It's about to explode.
Classic cartoon gag.
Yeah, the skinny alien grabs Lilo and starts running because he's like, this house is going to blow up. We got to go. These two are fighting, whatever. And Lilo has called Mr. Bubbles to say, aliens are attacking my house.
Which, as a social services guy, I think would be that's a call for help.
Yeah, well,
generally,
she is calling for help. So she's whisked away to safety, and the house blows up right as Mr. Bubbles arrives.
Yeah, which when a house is blown up, sure sign of a dysfunctional family.
Yeah. So now Lilo's in the back of his car. Nani is away because David has found her a job.
Yeah.
And the
catch-22 of single motherhood.
Yeah, so she's left for 5 minutes to run. It's literally around the corner from their driveway. Just to run and go talk to this woman, get her job, and run back. And she's standing outside and she sees the fire truck going. And she's like, please don't turn left. And it turns left into their driveway. Yeah. And she's just like, shit. So they're running back. And then she's talking to Bubbles while Lilo's in the back of the car, crying no, don't take her away, and a fireman is holding her back, which is not his job.
Yeah, no, fuck that fireman.
Yeah, there's always a man that's got to come up and get in the way when women are trying to get things done, but whatever.
Again, the state as a bad actor.
Yeah,
I don't know if firemen really count as the state, but in this situation I'm going to wrangle them up with the rest of the state.
So Lilo sees this and just hops out of the other side of the car and runs into the woods. She's like, fuck this.
Yeah.
And finds Stitch. He's still alive, and he admits to her that he's an alien, and she's just like, oh my god, you lied to me. And
you're not a dog?
Yeah, whoa. She's very upset. She's like, you're one of them. And then the giant shark man, Captain Bantu?
Sure.
Gantu. He appears. He's huge.
He's not good at hiding.
20 feet high. I don't know how he was hiding this whole time. He scoops both of them up into a glass cylinder which he puts on his back, takes to a spaceship, attaches it to the back of the spaceship, and takes off. And Stitch squeezes out of it and flies back to the ground.
Yeah. Leaves Lilo to
I don't think he means to leave Lilo. He's like holding onto the outside, and then the ship takes off and he gets knocked off of it.
Yeah, I think his intent was always to
bring
help
Lilo.
her. But it would be weird. I have like vivid, not real memories, but like emotional memories of being around that age, where suddenly being left alone is very scary. And if I'm jetting off into space, things feel really bad.
In a glass tube.
Fuck. Of all things.
There's not even like a real floor under you.
No, yeah.
You're just looking down at the void beneath you.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so then Jumbo and Pleakley, whatever, nab Stitch and put him in handcuffs. Shh, Penny, it's okay. Quiet. We're almost done.
Done.
And Nani shows up and she's just like,
she's mad.
She's pissed. She's like, where is my sister? She's like beating Stitch with a stick.
Yeah, this is like it's just weird. The indestructible creature is really getting his ass handed to him by like one strong woman with a stick.
So Jumbo and Pleaky agree to help her because they don't work for the
They don't work for no one no more.
Yeah, like,
and
fuck
they're
it.
like, we could just do good now if we feel like.
Stitch talks to Jumbo in his Stitch voice, and Jumbo's just like, okay. And Pleaky's like, wait, what? And he's like, he's very persuasive.
Yeah.
So they agree to help. And they reveal that they have a giant spaceship just under some leaves in the woods behind their house.
One of the things that we discovered.
People in Hawaii don't really explore the woods very much, apparently.
Well, there's that. But there's also, we discovered that at some point, like this plot got mangled a little bit because.
Oh, yeah.
Part of the reason the spaceship is so huge is because it was a jet plane.
Yes.
And there's this whole chase scene where they're trying to get Stitch and they're flying around, and in the movie they like they fly down these sort of like cavernous places,
like mountain ridges and stuff.
Yeah, that look like where you go into Jurassic Park.
They're flying through like volcanic mountain ridges.
Right.
Yeah.
But in the original movie, which was made before 9/11 and put out just after 9/11, had them flying an airplane through major cities and almost crashing.
Right?
Presumably.
I think so.
They make it over to the big island.
Hotel is in Honolulu.
But almost crashing into buildings, like it's a big. The imagery would, I guess. I mean, it's.
I could see it being traumatizing or just people would have said something. I remember when Lord of the Rings, the second in the trilogy, is called The Two Towers. The book was written in the fucking like 60s or 70s.
I never even thought about this.
People wanted Peter Jackson to change the name of the
no
movie.
Fucking way. I don't remember that at all.
He wouldn't.
Oh man.
And this was like a couple years after 9/11 had happened.
See, and this sounds like, the type of people who are into this, the people who are like no safe spaces libs.
Yeah, these
like
were
today.
Like right wingers.
These are like freedom fries loving motherfuckers who think that he should have changed the name of a J.R.R. Tolkien book.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I had no idea. I mean, that's like hysterical now. I have to look this up. When did the Two Towers come out? It's fine. You guys, we could keep talking. I'm just thinking about the Two Towers.
Well, so
2002. Okay.
Yeah, they've changed a bunch of stuff. So it's going through mountains instead of a city, and it's a spaceship instead of a jetliner.
Yeah.
They kept the unfortunate tourist with the ice cream cone.
Yeah,
there.
This is like his third or fourth ice cream cone he's
Yeah.
trying to eat.
And he's just sitting on the beach, and the very tip of the wing of the spaceship just knocks the ice cream off his cone.
It's so satisfying. It's really good.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Kudos. It's one of those things where I'm glad no real human actor had to play this guy because it's just like
dangerous.
such an embarrassing role. He just gets
because of the danger of having a spaceship. Not
well,
very
there's
small.
that too. Yeah.
I mean, they don't use computer models or generation things for spaceships. They're real, right?
All spaceships and all movies are real.
Awesome.
And they like Independence Day traveled to.
They really blew up the White House, right?
They blew up the White House.
Nice.
They found aliens to do it, and yeah, Hollywood isn't even real. It's
So it's not that the moon landing was faked in a Hollywood basement. It's that Hollywood was faked on the
Hollywood
moon.
was faked on the moon. Yeah. No,
Great. Awesome.
it's very cool. But long story short, everyone like crashes eventually or something.
Yeah, there's a chase scene. It gets pretty ridiculous. Stitch falls to the earth a couple of times from great heights, but he's indestructible except for when he's drowning in water.
And getting whacked by a stick.
Yeah, getting whacked by a stick. He uses a volcano to set a gasoline tanker on fire and launch himself up into the sky.
That's how we're going to fight global warming one day. I'm like absolutely sure of it. We're going to throw shit in volcanoes that blow up and then force eruptions and then cloud the earth.
Spew a bunch of carbon gases into the air.
It'll be weird, but what was that Norwegian volcano? What was that big one?
Oh, the one in Iceland that nobody can pronounce the name.
Yeah, with that like stupid long name, but cooled the earth significantly while it was all going off. I think
but it also
some nation's gonna do this one
eventually creates global warming because there's lots of greenhouse gases.
Yeah, you know who doesn't think that far ahead?
You.
No, it's not me. I'm not saying that this is a good idea. I'm saying that some state actor is going to do this in our lifetime. Harness volcano powers to fight global warming. All right,
everyone. Barto has called it, so...
Placing the bet.
He's placing the bet. Anyway, they all end up back on Earth on the beach. Mr. Bubbles is there, and he's completely not surprised at all to see a bunch of aliens.
No, yeah. Everyone is like... Yeah, I mean the Galactic Alliance people have landed too.
Oh, the Galactic Federation with the leader, she's there.
Yeah.
Another excellent female character in this. She's the president of the whole damn galaxy.
Yeah. And she's mean.
She's not mean. She's just doing her job.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
She has no...
It's a bad excuse.
She has no patience for incompetence.
Yeah, and it is.
In
I
fact,
guess it is
to the point that she jails Pleaky for his incompetence.
Yeah, I guess it is
his fault.
Dude incompetent, like
Male
headstrong
is the worst kind.
maleism.
Pleaky isn't super mask.
No, he's not.
In fact, he really enjoys dressing up as a lady.
Yeah, he's really into his wig and his look.
Actually, I thought was really cute was he's looking in his little mirror and admiring himself in the wig, and then Jumbo's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Nothing." And you think Jumbo's gonna make fun of him, but he's like, "I want to try it on."
Yeah, no, it's cool. And
then they fight over who gets to wear it.
The
it's
little
cute.
bit of playing with gender is not like dunked on at all. It's like,
I mean, I was really like, oh man, this is gonna be a bad point. It's gonna be bad, and then
it's not.
It could have been way worse. It was kind of adorable, like kind of. I mean, it was played for laughs, but instead of Pleaky being made to feel bad for enjoying wearing this wig, it's really just that he wanted to wear it too.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of good shit in this movie.
Yeah. But
I don't know, the lady who's what's her name?
Oh, the head of the galaxy.
The head Grant. Oh, her just goes by Grand Councilwoman. She has no other
Grand
name.
Councilwoman. She's quite grand.
One of her many police captures Stitch real quick.
Yeah.
But when he reveals himself to be like a competent being.
Yeah, he says, he explains Ohana to her, and he says, "This is my family."
Can Stitch say goodbye?
Yes.
Thank you.
Who are you?
This is my family. I found it all on my own. It's little and broken, but still good. Yeah, still good.
It's little and broken, but it's still good. And she is like, in the beginning of the movie, has asked, she's like, well, maybe we can communicate with him. Let's give him a chance. And then he says this awful gibberish that was so offensive. And everyone's like, never mind. Now he's communicating to her sincerely. And she's like, oh, there's something going on here.
Yeah.
He's changed.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Bubbles starts talking to her, and she's like, I know you from somewhere.
Yeah, and Mr. Bubbles is, of course...
He is a man in black.
He is, yeah.
That's why he's wearing the suit and the sunglasses.
Well, it's a little confusing because he's CIA, former ex-CIA.
Whatever, he's a government spook. And
who also...
bad guy. I shouldn't say that.
I don't know, everyone does.
Yeah, okay, so apparently spook is problematic. It has a racist connotation.
Yes, it absolutely does.
Yeah, but it also, like, means, like, a government, like, secret, very undercover person who, like, is, like, a ghost.
And it, like, I get the sterner use of the word, and I actually think, like, I wish it was just any other word.
Could we just come up with a new word?
Than the S word? Yeah.
Yeah, like, is there, like, specter, maybe? I don't know.
A specter is, I mean...
Like, I don't want to be saying a racist word.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where I don't think that many people consider it a racist word. And, like, this is... But
if one person hears it and is upset, I will feel bad.
No, and that's, good.
I don't like to make people uncomfortable.
I try not to use this word.
Okay, well, I apologize for saying it, and in the future, I'm going to come up with
you even need
a new word, a better word.
Well, but he's for some reason a CIA guy who was part of the Roswell crash, which is a weird thing for the CIA to be doing.
Yeah, and he's the one who convinced the Galactic Federation that mosquitoes are an endangered species.
Yeah, he's very clever.
So they wouldn't blow up Earth.
He's very clever.
Yeah, he's a hero.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also,
this is where the movie sort of derails just a little bit.
Yeah, this is where the movie stops being an anti-state movie.
But,
so they're about to take Stitch away, and Mr. Bubbles tells Lilo to take the paperwork on Stitch out of her pocket and show them, and she's like, I paid $2 for him. And Grand Councilwoman is, well, by golly, you did.
Because
aliens love rules.
And because they're peak liberals.
Yeah, they are peak liberals.
Like, well, this is your property and we can't take this from you.
Yeah, so even though he's a government agent, I guess Mr. Bubbles is okay.
I mean,
he does seem to genuinely care about them and everything.
He does.
Even though he's government agent and CPS, and he's trying to take Lilo away. At the end of the movie, he's trying his best.
Well, and so a weird thing happens.
And he helps them not have to lose and be broken up.
Yeah. And so the galactic government decides that this family will be under the watchful eye and protection of them.
Yeah, because their job is keeping Stitch in line.
Yeah.
Because Stitch has to play out his life sentence, not just like on Earth, but I think it's also implied like just on Hawaii.
On a rock within a rock.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
But I don't know.
No, not even, because they take trips.
Oh yeah, they do take trips.
They
okay,
take trips.
But like part of him not being destructive is that there's nothing to destroy. It's just forests. There's no big cities. But so she makes this family the caretakers of Stitch. Stitch has to live out his life sentence in exile on Earth, and everything is all hunky-dory. And because, as you're saying, what
am I saying?
The Galactic Federation is providing them aid.
Oh, yeah. It's providing them aid. And so all of a sudden we... And the other thing is our bounty hunters, essentially, the scientist and the Earth expert, decide to stay on Earth.
Well,
also?
She doesn't let them get on her ship.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
their ship
it.
is pretty broken.
Yeah, and so they're just
I don't
like,
know if
fuck
it's
it,
by choice or not.
we're staying. But then, so they help out with the family.
Yeah.
And it seems like their new CIA handler is very friendly too.
Well, he's not a CIA handler. He's still just a social worker.
Well, whatever. But all of a sudden, you know, they get together. They rebuild the house
very quickly.
Very quickly.
They take trips to Graceland.
Yeah, we see them taking vacations. Yeah, they
Christmas
go to Graceland. They go somewhere where it's snowing.
Yeah, and at Christmas time, Jumbo dresses up like Santa and brings presents.
Yeah, like, and so we have this idea that, like, actually life is really much less traumatizing and agonizing
when they're
if you're
getting
not,
help.
when you're not so atomized.
When you're not desperately poor.
Yeah.
And you have a support system to help you raise a child.
Yeah, the state is not coming down on you, but in fact you have a state,
a benevolent state that's giving you support.
State supporting you, yeah. You know, I'm not.
And David is present throughout now.
Yeah, and David, I think.
So I guess he and Nani got together finally.
I think, yeah, they're finally like, again, you know, we have a support network, and so Nani has time for loving, which is
Nani
great.
gets to have a relationship now.
She deserves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this weird little I don't know, collectivist bent that comes about at the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's cool.
I mean, you know, a mutual aid-based society would be better, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, of course. I mean...
Just to be a humorless anarchist.
Yeah, it would be, you know, something else if, you know, the aliens came down at the end and were like, you know, this would be a beautiful family, but this state is trying to break it up.
Yeah.
Hang on, we'll fix that.
Just destroyed American imperialism.
And then the last third of the movie is the aliens ending imperialism forever.
That's what every other alien movie is really about. All of the alien movies where they're trying to blow up the White House, they're in Mars Attacks when they're invading Vegas. What's really going on is it's aliens trying to destroy Western imperialism so that Lilo and Nani can be happy.
That's beautiful. That's great. Yeah. Okay. This is what I'm going to imagine now, that all other alien invasion movies are in parallel universes or in the same universe as Lilo and Stitch.
And it's all for Nani and Lilo. Do you have any other thoughts to add?
What else was there anything else on add? No, not, you know, I mean, you pointed out, we sort of touched on this, that this is really like the Frankenstein monster thing.
Oh, yeah, because he's a hideous monster and he makes friends with a little girl and then almost destroys her life. Yeah. Actually, I think in Frankenstein he does accidentally kill the girl.
Does accidentally kill the girl. Yeah. But it is everything. That would be a weird twist for a Disney movie.
This is better because he doesn't have to like be sent away on an ice float.
No, in the Arctic. But you know, in the term, he is on an isolated little planet, not part of this great federation. in the same way.
But it's a happy ending.
It is.
The little girl is okay in the end.
Yeah, no, it's not quite the same.
He, in fact, gets to stay being friends with the little girl.
Yeah, he does not accidentally kill the little girl in this.
Right.
You're right. That is a big difference. But the build up to that point, I think, is fairly similar.
Right.
Mob action against.
There's no mob action.
I mean, the state. It's the galactic state itself. I don't know. States are a mob. Maybe not.
No.
Okay. Well, then I don't have anything else to say about this.
All right. Well, this has been The Conquest of Popcorn, discussing the greatest film of the 21st century.
Whoa.
Okay, I'm lying. I'm exaggerating. I just really like this movie. It's
No,
cute.
it's good.
It's good. It's got a good message.
Yeah.
And y'all should watch it. And
Yeah, watch Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, watch it illegally.
Yeah, don't. Disney
It's
has.
so hard to get Disney movies, even if you want to give them money.
Yeah.
Like,
no, fuck them for
Disney
that.
does not want you to give them your money to watch a fucking movie.
They want you to have to go to Florida and like hang out
They
with giant Lilos.
They want you to go to the mall, to their horrible Disney store, and buy a Blu-ray disc for like $28.
Yeah. What even is Blu-ray?
It's ridiculous. Pirate this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, pirate this shit. Support the podcast or the
the podcast's
The
mission
podcast
to
pod.
destroy Hollywood.
Yeah,
You don't have to support us. We don't want your money. I mean, I always want your money, but these are free.
Yeah. But it's sweet if you do things like retweet, send us positive
Ideas.
feedback. Ideas are great. We love ideas.
You can give us constructive criticism.
Yeah, no, I'm just playing y'all. I have a thick backbone. Thick skin. Yeah.
I'm incredibly thin-skinned.
Yeah. Okay.
If you
well,
want to reduce me to a sobbing mess, just mildly criticize me.
Yeah, I don't know. We're on SoundCloud.com/The Conquest of Popcorn. We're on iTunes. We're at popcorn_pod.
Yep.
I'm at El Barto Army.
I'm at Pinko_snob.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
And we'll see you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.